What is there a triage list of priority here in terms of all of the different contributing factors? What's most important when it comes to assessing male fertility and sperm quality?
Well, usually I think the count is probably the most important. That's usually how we talk to patients about it, or at least, the number of moving sperm. We talk, sort of on average, men have probably about 50 to 100 million moving sperm. And, for couples trying on their own, you probably want at least 20 to 40 million moving sperm. Now, when you get lower, then you need to start thinking about some assistance, to get pregnant. So, if you have like, less than kind of the 20 million, 5 to 20 million, there's something called intrauterine insemination, where you can take sperm, put it inside female partner's uterus when she's ovulating, or with just a few dozen sperm, you can do in vitro fertilization, where you mix sperm and eggs together in a dish. So, ultimately for men, I always say it is somewhat of a numbers game. Although it's interesting when you look at it, it's not a perfect measure of fertility. So, if you look at men with, hundreds of millions of sperm, some of them won't get pregnant. And then when you look at men with just a few sperm, like a million sperm or 2 million sperm, some of them are able to get pregnant without difficulty. So, it's a complex problem. I think also, fertility is ultimately a team sport. So I think, what the female partner brings to the table is also going to be very important to some of this. But it does give us just sort of an overall assessment of, likelihood of having issues or not.
Right. Okay. What are the biggest determining factors that influence a man's sperm quality then?
Well, I think genetics play a big role. I think, you're kind of born with, some potential as well.